Jimmy Butler arrives, and I remember all of our conversations. Really good player. It's only for a short period of time.
Right.
Not a great teammate. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I'll tell you what I see right now. Great teammate. All caps. He's only been here for a matter of months, but he's throwing a perfect game as far as being a teammate.
No doubt.
So far. Look at the glue that is just oozing off of this guy with what we've seen so far in the locker room. You have a superstar basketball player. To me, there's three things.
Okay.
Number one, a superstar basketball player who had no problem walking in and going, I'll be Robin. And before you go, well, he's getting
Batman.
old. Yeah. Okay, he's getting old. He's younger than Batman. Okay? So that's point number one. Point number two, he has engaged in a relationship that is its own comedy show in practice and after games at a press conference, to the point where they have launched a new bobblehead with Jimmy and Buddy Hield as the two people sitting down at a podium, because they've got this whole act. Jimmy and Buttered.
They've got
Batman.
their own bobbleheads coming out.
Today.
The Buddies, we're Buddies bobbleheads.
My name is Buddy.
Right.
And then number three is apparently Jimmy Butler has decided, I'll be the one to show JK the way. I'll be the one to do that. Listen to this with regard to Butler and Jonathan Kuminga.
I just want to help JK be great. He's got so much like just raw talent, and he's so aggressive. He's athletic. He's super smart, and I'm trying to teach him a little bit of what I see throughout the game. And we've been, kicking it, hanging out, watching film, and just working on our game together after practice, before practice, during practice. I know how great he wants to be and how great he can be. So it's now my job to help him fulfill that.
That's my job, he says. One more from Butler on Kuminga.
He will play like that because he has every single individual on this roster in this corner telling them to be aggressive, be who you are, and we'll kind of like fall in line behind you and make sure that you have any and every opportunity to be great. Don't shy away from anything. You speak up. You're one of us. If we can talk to you any type of way, then you can reciprocate that and talk to us.
Did anybody see this coming with Jimmy Butler? Anybody? Remember, this is the awful human being who ruined everything in Miami, wouldn't get on a plane, had Pat Riley yanking beautiful hair out of his head. That's who this is. This is who we got?
Right.
I did not know that this is what, and I know people will go, oh, this is how it starts, but wait a I don't really care what this looks like 5 years from now, because he's not going to be playing basketball anymore 5 years from now.
That's kind of the point. Like, by the time it gets to that point, it will all be over. And if you want to look at each individual situation, you look at Chicago, where he came in and he wasn't the dude. They had Derrick Rose, and he eventually found his way to Minnesota, and he got there, and he was playing with a bunch of guys that he didn't have a deep amount of respect for. And at every stop, he got to a spot where things weren't necessarily structurally sound enough to where he had to toe this line. And I'm not saying he has to here, but think about what he comes into. So you get traded to the Warriors, and you come into a place where they've won 4 titles. You've got Steve Kerr, who's won all the time as a player, as a coach, and he's a guy who's won at an unbelievable level. And you've got Steph and Draymond, Draymond Green is Jimmy Butler times 2 as far as like alpha male, and like you're going to make sure that we do things our way. Steph Curry is one of the greatest players ever. So you come into this situation and you win, and then you get into the offseason and you do what you do, which is travel the world, and then you have everyone down to your place in San Diego, and you realize that you're not only allowed to be a team leader, they need you to be a team leader, and then the JK thing happens, and Jimmy Butler wants to win as much as, if not more than any other human being. And so you look at this team and you think, all right, what can I do to make our team as good as possible? You're not going to help Steph Curry be a better shooter and a better leader. You're not going to help Draymond Green want to play harder and win more. If you're Jimmy Butler, you look at what can I do as a veteran and as a leader, and you look at Jonathan Kuminga. and you say, if I can get to JK, if I can reach him and get him to be the best player that he can be, whether or not it's 50 games or it's 2 years, whatever it is, I think that Jimmy Butler saw that as a great opportunity to truly lead. And so I'm really not that surprised. I'm pleasantly delighted by what I'm hearing and what we're seeing.
I mean, whether it's a surprise or not, I guess in the end doesn't even matter. What matters is that this is happening. And to me, it's another example of something that I've tried. It's very difficult to do, I think, but I've tried to make it kind of something that I use as a rule in my life, which is if I've never met a person or I don't know a person, I'm going to go ahead and make up my mind and my judgments once I have. Do you know what I mean? Like if you were to, back when we used to work at different places, if you were to tell me, dude, the boss at our place is just the biggest jerk. It's just an awful, awful human being. And I know you. I don't think you're a liar. I don't think you're a crazy person. I'd be like, oh, I'm probably going to a certain degree, I'm going to believe this. But that very well may not be the experience that I have. I think the jury is still out on this, but take Raffy Devers, for example. We had a line of people call us from Boston, including Dave Fleming's brother. And they're just like, this loser won't be a team player, and he won't this, and he won't
Jonathan
that.
Papelbon you guys had on?
Papelbon was out of his mind. He might have had a couple of pops. I have no idea. But then Raffy gets here, and he's like, where's my first baseman's glove? Yeah. Oh, by the way, if Chappie gets hurt, you need me to go play third? Sure. DH first? What y'all need? So, it's another reminder, I find, to, make up our mind when you're having your direct experience with a person, because Jimmy Butler, I feel like, has been dragged through the media circus through the years a time or two. And I'm not even saying maybe in some of those situations he was in the wrong. Maybe. But he's got this reputation that now that he's on this team in this city and we're hearing from him every night, I don't find that reputation to be accurate at all.
It's not only a reputation, but there are facts in what he's done. And so I think that the reputation in different spots is well earned. It doesn't mean that when you come to a new situation with more veterans and older players than he is, and you add Al Horford into the mix, and you're Jimmy Butler, you're not the OG on this team. Not even close. So now you just get to come in and be Jimmy Butler. Get to the foul line and do what you do. And I heard it was either Draymond or Steph talking about just the way Jimmy plays, and he plays the right way all the time. He makes the smart play almost every time. He doesn't make bad shots. He doesn't, do the wrong thing. He doesn't play selfishly. So you come into this situation, I do think at this point in his career, it's easier for him than it was in Miami, where you've got, Duncan Robinson, and you've gotten Tyler Hero, and you've got all these pups, and you've got this leadership burden that maybe you don't want, and you've got a president of basketball, Pat Riley, who is exacting, as we know, and maybe rubbing you the wrong way. You come here, and it's Kerr and Dunleavy and Lacob, and it's Steph and Draymond, and it's, look, we've won championships, and we don't need you to come in here and be the alpha. Just come in here and do what you do. Play hard, defend, play smart, and lead, and make sure you pick on Buddy every chance you get. So I do think that this situation really suits him where he is in his career.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're not wrong. Different people can become different things when their surroundings are different and their perspective changes, and sometimes that comes with age or that comes with situations, right? Like Jimmy realizes that the curtain is starting to fall and all of that. So sure, I'll leave a bunch of room for that. I'm not going to say that what we're seeing here means whatever happened before didn't happen. I'm not an expert on things that have happened with Jimmy Butler before. I might have my thought on it. I did, and you remember this, and this was before he was a Warrior. So this wasn't some sort of a Warrior take, but I thought for sure when the whole thing was going down in Miami, I'm like, why is this all on Jimmy? Why? Pat Riley does things a certain way that, oh, by the way, doesn't really work anymore. Pat Riley got mad at LeBron for bringing things on a plane. What? Just, right? Relax. I understand that this didn't work with the Showtime Lakers. That was like 40 years ago. Like relax a little bit. And maybe he can't because he's been doing it a certain way and he's super successful. But just because we hear somebody having a hard time somewhere doesn't mean that they're automatically wrong. Doesn't now mean that they were right either. I just think that there was a lot to that story that we probably didn't hear, and it gets very difficult as an individual to sort of win that PR battle with an entire team. We've watched that a lot. But Jimmy Butler arrives, and I remember all of our conversations, which was, yeah, look, really good player, and luckily it's only for a short period of time.
Right.
Not a great teammate. Well, I don't know what's going to happen next, but I'll tell you what I see right now. Great teammate. All caps. Great teammate. He's only been here for a matter of months, but he's throwing a perfect game as far as being a teammate.
No doubt.
So far. I don't know what's going to happen next. Maybe the Warriors and Jimmy Butler a year from now will hate one another and will be all dragged through some sort of drama. I doubt it. And yes, this Warriors culture, obviously, because of Steph Curry and others, is very, very it's a tight ship, man. And so maybe it's just easier for Jimmy to fit in. Maybe this has only been a certain amount of time. But I agree with what Draymond just said there. You hear all of the noise, and then it's very difficult to not have these preconceived notions when somebody arrives. But he has absolutely not been the cover of the book at all. He has been way better than that.
And it's early, and if you look at all
I'm liking it early.
I'm loving it early. Yeah, you're nice to say that about it's a great Steiny callback, but when he's had trouble, it usually hasn't happened immediately, and it's happened over time. And I do think that if you look at the structure of all the places where he's wound up not being a permanent fixture or having things not work out, it hasn't been like this. And you come here, and ostensibly he left Miami because he wanted to get a contract, and they didn't want to give him one. So he comes here, boom, here's a 2-year deal for humongous money, and you're playing alongside 2 other Hall of Famers and a Hall of Fame coach for an owner who is hell-bent on winning. So, all right, Jimmy, welcome to the team. What do you think that you have to complain about? Let me think. I got 2 Hall of Famers next to me. I've got a coach with security. I've got an owner who spends. I've got an unbelievable building. I've got a staff and resources that will support me. I don't know if there's anything that I could be disgruntled about.
But there's a huge gap between like what you're sort of suggesting about being annoyed or disgruntled or angry, and then also all the way over here stepping forward into leadership qualities that aren't necessarily called for. Like Jimmy could have also just been here and been like, well, how about like Kevin Durant? Jimmy could have just been like, I'm just here to ball, dude. I'm just here to put the ball in the hole. That's what I'm here to do. And I'll do it at an elite level. And I don't think Kevin did anything wrong on this aspect, but I didn't see him as this kind of a guy. I didn't see Kevin Durant doing comedy shows after games. I didn't see Kevin Durant taking young players under his wing in very tense moments and being like, I'm going to help navigate you through this. I need you to listen to me, right? If you don't want to listen to Steve, I need you to listen to me. And we're going to navigate like Kevin didn't do, and that's fine.
Yeah.
So that's not always, that's what I'm saying. Jimmy is doing what was asked and a lot more.